Hello to everyone. So, is it good or bad to count people? What do you think? So our parshat starts with, first of all, Sefer Bamidbar calls the book of Numbers. We're counting the Bnei Israel a lot of times. And the parshat starts with it's actually not the first time, it's the third time in a year that Hashem counting Bnei Israel. And Rashi tells us, why is he counting us? Mitoch chibatan lefanav, because he loves us so much, he counted us every hour. When we left Egypt, he counted us. When after the Chet HaEgel, the golden calf, he counted us to know who was left. And now, after he's building the Mishkan, he want to count us again to know how much we are. So, because of love. Hashem is counting us because of love. But then, if we're getting back to parshat Ki Tisa, they're obeying on machatzit shekel, half of shekel we need to bring in order to count our people. Over there, it says, Rashi says, I'm sorry. Velo yeh b'hem negef, meaning bring the half shekel so you won't gonna get any harm. Why? Because when you count something, שהמניין שולט בו עין הרע. There is עין הרע when you count something. And I give example also from David the king, who counted his people, and after that a lot of people died. So, again, is it good to count people or not good to count people according to Hashem, according to Judaism? And I guess the answer is it depends. It just depends. 2 days ago I went to the Orioles game. They played against Los Angeles Angels. That's the name, yes. And the other team had a very famous player, apparently, Shohei Ohtani. Have you ever heard the name? If you follow baseball, probably you heard the name. He is amazing. He played very good. But one of the things everyone talked about, like how much the stadium is full. Do we have like 20,000 people or 30,000 people? It's not just special for baseball. We know how much when you have a big protest, or when you want to say something was big, or like, we had so many people came to this and this event, so immediately they say 20,000 people, or 50,000, or even just 2,000 came to the davening or the concert, whatever. And the danger in that is that it immediately can cancel yourself. Like, when you talk about 20,000 people, so who am I in that 20,000 people? I'm not so important about that. And I think this is what the Judaism trying to tell us, and this is what parshat Bamidbar may be trying to tell us, because the verb in Hebrew to count, there's a lot of way you can say to count in Hebrew. You can say lispor, limnot. There's different words, but here we say in parshat Bamidbar, we say Se'u et rosh kol adat be'Yisrael, like lift up the head of everyone in Israel popularity. Now, what is Se'u et rosh? Why not just count it? Like, do something that will be counting. What's Se'u et rosh? So maybe it applies two directions. First of all, the Judaism try to tell us, even when you're part of a bigger popularity, don't think it's canceling yourself. You should be always taking yourself seriously. The Rambam even suggesting that one should see himself in the Chot Shuvah. He says one should see himself all the time like his next action, the good or bad deed he will do, that's going to determine the world, if we're going to go to good or bad. This is how much you're important. Each one of us needs to see that. So that's from the community side. But from ourselves also, we need to realize, even when we're part of bigger tribes, bigger community, yes, we're part of all the nation of Am Yisrael, we have a job to do. We have a part to do. We always need to strive in growing ourselves a little bit more. Now, I think it's beautifully connected. I'll end up with it shortly. Today is the Yortzeit of Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, also known as the Ramchal. He wrote one book that's called Mesilat Yesharim. It's a fascinating book. It takes some of the midot, like behaviors, and try to talk how to do that. And in his promo, like akdama, how do you say that? Introduction to the book, he says, I'm not writing here something new. Like anything I'm writing here, people know. I just want to remind it to everyone to know how to behave and how to improve themselves. So I think maybe Mesilat Yesharim is one example of someone who can read it and remind himself what to do the best. But again, the message of our Pasha is, just because you're part of big group, don't think it's canceling yourself, and take yourself seriously. Try to strive yourself to the best you can.